For 6 centuries, the Voynich Manuscript has quietly humiliated some of the smartest people who ever lived. Codebreakers, physicists, mathematicians, medieval scholars, computer scientists, career cryptographers, all of them have picked it up, stared at it, and eventually put it back down. And now a researcher in Germany says the streak is over. He claims he finally read the most mysterious book on Earth. So the obvious question is, what does it actually say? Welcome, this is where curious people come to laugh a little and learn a lot. And today we are diving into whether the secrets of the Voynich Manuscript have really been unlocked at last. A German Egyptologist says yes, or at least he really wants to believe it. But before we get to his claim, let us back up and look at what this thing even is. The Voynich Manuscript is a codex of roughly 240 pages, dated to the medieval period, and it is written in a script that nobody has ever managed to read. Every page is crawling with strange drawings, plants that do not exist, star charts that do not match our sky, and an almost absurd number of naked women sitting in pools of water. It refuses to be sorted into any known category, and it refuses to be understood. And it is not for lack of trying. FBI analysts, celebrated medievalists, elite linguists, decorated mathematicians, they have all thrown themselves at it and walked away with nothing. Even Alan Turing, the man who broke the German war codes, took a look and got nowhere. Picture the kind of ancient, crumbling, calfskin book you would expect to see in a treasure hunt movie, something dramatic and forbidden. Now, instead of skulls and daggers, imagine page after page of women lounging in bathtubs. Tubs with little windows. Tubs shaped like body parts. Tubs leaking a strange green fluid. Tubs connected by twisting tubes and pipes. That is the Voynich Manuscript. Historians have tried to bring some order to the chaos by splitting the book into sections, and each one is stranger than the last. There is a botanical section, thick with illustrations of plants that no botanist has ever identified, all spiky stems and dripping leaves and impossible flowers. In one drawing, a little creature that looks like a cross between a dragon and a seahorse is nibbling on a leaf, which makes you wonder exactly what the author was doing with those plants in the first place. There is an astronomical section where the pages fold out into enormous star maps, sprawling constellations tangled up with tiny figures of women holding stars and climbing out of tubes. Some of it is almost recognizable. You can spot shapes that resemble Pisces or Taurus or Sagittarius, but everything is slightly wrong, slightly off, as if it were copied from a sky that is not ours. Then there is the biological section, which is easily the most famous and by far the most bizarre. Women everywhere, floating, wading, half submerged, connected by canals and pipes and basins shaped like human anatomy. People have been asking for hundreds of years why the author was so obsessed with women in water, and nobody has a good answer. Finally, there is the pharmaceutical section, filled with what look like jars and roots and recipes. The text throughout runs from left to right, and even though no one can read a word of it, there is clearly structure in there. Analysts have counted somewhere between 20 and 25 distinct characters, a real alphabet, but nobody has cracked how those characters combine into meaning. Back in 1960, the legendary cryptanalyst Elizabeth Friedman warned that anyone who tries to translate it is doomed to frustration. And for 60 years, she has been proven right. The theories about who wrote it are wild. Some believe it was a secret code invented by scholars or philosophers who wanted to hide their knowledge. And of course, some people believe it was aliens. Type Voynich and aliens into a search bar and you will lose an afternoon. The reasoning goes like this. The language matches nothing on Earth. The star charts show constellations we cannot identify. So maybe a visitor from somewhere else crash-landed here in the 1400s, realized our technology could not send him home, and decided to spend the rest of his days filling a book with his own private record of a life stranded on a strange planet. Basically an alien travel journal. The internet is a wonderful place. After centuries of dead ends, honestly, no theory was too ridiculous to consider. Which brings us to this summer when one man announced he had finally done it. A German Egyptologist declared that the underlying language is a Semitic one, and after weighing the European imagery in the illustrations, he narrowed it down to Hebrew, one of the tongues that educated Europeans of the Middle Ages would have known. He says he matched certain Voynich characters to Hebrew letters, then pieced together the first few words and then supposedly whole sentences. He also warned it will take years to translate the entire book. So what do those first sentences reveal? According to him, mostly gibberish, and scholars of ancient Hebrew are deeply unconvinced. They say he bent and stretched the language so hard, forcing meaning into places where there simply is none, that his so-called translation falls apart the moment you examine it. And this is the part that should make you cautious because he is far from the first. Over the last several decades, at least 60 different Voynich solutions have been formally published, and every single one has been torn apart. In 2019, a research associate from a university in England was convinced the book was written in a lost proto-language, an ancestor of modern languages, and described the realization as a genuine eureka moment. The story exploded across the media, and then it was demolished with exactly the same energy, undone by rushed research and a scramble to publish before anyone could check the work. As one science outlet dryly put it afterward, another day, another dubious claim that someone has decoded the Voynich Manuscript. A couple of years before that, a television writer made global headlines insisting the book was a women's health manual written in abbreviated Latin. The health manual idea is not entirely crazy, given all the anatomy in the drawings, but the Latin part collapsed instantly. Experts found his readings to be nonsense, and it did not help that he was researching for a TV program and had almost no background in decoding historical texts. Even the Hebrew angle had been tried and buried before. Around 2016, two computer scientists proudly announced they had translated entire sentences of the book out of Hebrew. Their method? They typed every Hebrew letter they thought they recognized into an online translation tool and read off whatever came out. The first sentence, they claimed, was something about making recommendations to priests and to a household. It sounded almost plausible until actual Hebrew experts looked at it and said it was not even close. So the language stays locked, but the book's history is at least a little clearer, even if there are still gaps of centuries we cannot fill. Scientists carbon dated the pages to the early 1400s, and the style of the art, the pigments, and the calfskin all point to an origin in northern Italy. The manuscript first steps into the recorded history in the late 1500s, when a Holy Roman emperor apparently bought it, and his court physician's signature still sits on the first page. From there, it passed to an alchemist in Prague who grumbled that it was a useless riddle taking up space, and it was even sent to a hieroglyphics expert in Rome who declared it simply could not be cracked. Then the book vanished for roughly 250 years before resurfacing in 1912. Purchased by a Polish book dealer named Wilfrid Voynich, who gave it his name and spent his life trying to read it. Some suspected he forged it himself to sell a valuable medieval mystery, but the carbon dating makes that impossible. Today it rests in a rare book library at Yale, still unread, still teasing everyone who opens it. Personally, my favorite explanation is that the whole thing was a con. A medieval trickster who claimed he could speak with angels, going into trances while others wrote down the divine nonsense pouring out of him. An entire invented angelic language full of meaning that was never there. If that is what the Voynich Manuscript truly is, then decoding it is not just hard, it is impossible because there was never a message to begin with. The greatest cryptographers are stumped. The most powerful computers have failed. The finest linguists have hit walls. Maybe the only thing left to do is wait for the author to come back and explain himself. Thanks for spending this time with me. If you enjoyed the mystery or learned something new, give this video a like, it genuinely helps. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and remember that you are appreciated.